Hello everyone. So it is lunchtime at my office now, and I decided to my hands are itchy again, so I decided to give another round of live commentary. Of course, I'm not going to take the full hour because I have work to do this afternoon. Right, so this is another of Lichess hourly and daily arenas, and today it seems that they have a Caro Kann team Blitz arena. As those of you who are familiar with me may know, the Caro Kann is one of my favorite openings. So I think we'll be able to see some nice games today. And yeah, right now we are about halfway through the tournament. There's about 23 minutes left to go. So I think we have about time for about 2 to 3 games, right? All right. So without further ado, let's take a look at the top boards. How is it going over here? All right. This is definitely a far cry from the usual Caro Kann, but my first instinct is that it arose from the classical variation, where it's very common for black to be castling queen side to avoid those kind of potential queen side attacks by white. I may be wrong, but as you can see now, the first thing I think of is that I don't really like the exposed nature of white's king over here. In comparison, you see that black's king definitely looks a lot safer. On the other hand, does white have any compensation? I don't think he has. I mean, I don't think he has, to be honest. Like, first of all, you notice that black is basically a entire minor piece up. He has the 2 bishops, and then white is. I think I already said just now. White's king is quite exposed. So I'll say that this, yeah, and then after this, the knight falls. Yeah, so I'll say that I think black will win this game now if nothing goes wrong. The only thing that's in white's favor is that black is lower on time, but honestly, both sides are so low on time, this might just become a complete time scramble. Anyway, there is not consequential anymore because white has just resigned. Right, so not a lot out from this game. Let's look at another game, maybe one that has just started. See if there's any. No, all of them look like, wait, I just found one. Oh my gosh, I think it is this. Yep, there we go. And that's the Caro. Oh, wait. That's a very interesting position. That's not like the normal Caro Kann that I think of. I think that's the this, then after that the knight comes out. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely the classical variation, but it's the other variation where black deploys his knight to d7. I'm not a very big fan of that variation because it requires like quite deep opening theory, which I'm not very familiar with, right? Anyway, let's see what happens over here. Yeah, we definitely have the very typical Caro Kann position. You see that already black is making his ideas for a very typical queen side attack. Right, the question is whether he can whether we faster than white's attack over here, because as you can see, right, the moment white has played things like f4, things like c3, then the moment he's able to drop this bishop back to c2, then actually white's king side attack can become very, very strong. And also coupled with the fact that I think he has chosen this advanced variation, so it's going to be hard for black to be able to deploy a knight back to try and defend the queen side. And as you can see, white is already losing no time in trying to redeploy his king pieces over to the king side. Already, I think bishop to c2 is a very natural follow-up. Maybe you might even consider things like, I mean, knight to h5. Okay, bishop to c, rook to e3 might not be so useful, but if I can get it in, then rook to h3 definitely a very strong move for black. And yes, we see bishop to c2, the expected move from white. And now the question is, how is black going to find counterplay in this position? I mean, definitely all the pieces are aimed at black's king side, but my instinct is that any form of counter attack on the blacks, come on, it's going to restart in 9 minutes. Okay, never mind, I'm going to ignore that. But where was I? I was saying that whether any form of counter attack on the queen side by black, my feeling is that it's not going to be fast enough to respond to the white's king side attack, simply because this king is very, very exposed on the king side. I mean, probably black can make some form of breakthrough with like rook to c8, and then down, and then hopefully try to get a weak pawn over here. But I mean, this kind, yeah, you get a positional advantage, but then it's going to be nothing if your king is on the verge of getting checkmated, right? See if there's any comments on the YouTube. There's none. Never mind then. Okay, so what is he play? Rook A to C8. I thought if he wanted to decide on the queen side attack, rook F to C8 would be more accurate. But of course, that would maybe he was afraid that if he really goes all out on the queen side, then he has literally no defenders on the king side to stop any of Black's attack lah. Bishop to E4 is an interesting move. I'm not so sure behind the point of that move, to be honest. Probably he's thinking of something like trades of the bishop, and then after that you try and get the rook lift. Getting the rook lift, yeah. Another thing I just realized now is that okay, so rook c8. I mean, the obvious threat here is rook f to c8, and then doubling rooks on this open file. But now I just realized there's another problem which white has to solve, which is this loose pawn over here. I mean, black can already take with check, right? Sorry, my bad. It's getting defended, but yeah, I mean, after he can't take it immediately because he loses. Basically, he loses the white can't play that. I'm sorry. Just realized because of this knight. Yeah. I think that's why white wanted to trade off the knight, if you ask me. Because this knight really is covering this square, which is a very good developing move for the bishop. And now it seems that I'm not so sure why white wanted to redeploy his bishop here. He was really doing very good along this diagonal. I mean, even along this square, it would have been quite useful already. But I mean, he wasted time bringing it back over here, and then now he has to. Now black is able to get in time to successfully execute the queen side counter attack. And this is a very interesting sec. I think the idea is that king takes g2. If king takes, then there's this cover attack over here, simply put, or maybe even over here. Then you win the queen, right? So obviously, white doesn't take. He drops back, and then g6, queen to f3. So slowly the white attackers are being repelled one by one, and I really think it's really up to white to see whether he can defend his position. I think the tables have definitely turned over here. I think black is the one that's attacking, and now the white king is the one that's going to get exposed, right? I think mainly because white spent too much time like dilly-dallying with his bishop, with these really weird bishop maneuvers that honestly I didn't think it achieved much. Well, we shall see how it goes now. And he has just played knight to f4. I mean, the idea is this, but he does take, and then okay, you expose this diagonal, and I think that's the point. At first I thought rook to g2, but rook to h1 takes, and to me it seems like, I don't know, was it something calculated by black? Because I don't see how white can follow up over here, right? Actually, I don't see how black can follow up the attack. If it fails, it just means that black has like dropped the. I mean, if black's attack doesn't go through, it's basically a exchange down. Yeah. I got a feeling he miscalculated something over here for black. I mean, definitely it's hard for both sides to calculate everything, but it's yeah, you see white seems to be able to hold off the attack, the exchange sacrifice. Yeah, I mean, really there was no good squares for black's queen to go to. If I am okay, yeah, that's a good move as well. I mean, I was suggesting this, but that cuts off the rook. I was hoping for something like this so that you stop any ideas of rook to c2. Yeah. Basically, black needs to get in rook c2 eventually if he wants any hope of his attack to succeed. Well, long thing from Black over here. I started to wonder whether he realized that his calculations basically messed up. I've got a very big feeling he did. Yes, anyway, Rook A C1 from White, and now I think Black's attack has effectively failed. As we go into the endgame now, it's basically White is basically an entire Rook and a Knight up. I mean, he still has to be careful, for White, because if the Queen just strays away too easily, right, then suddenly there's this checkmate threat over here. But I think if White calculates accurately, it should be a win for him. I mean, already. Okay, fine. I was looking at Rook to D1, but then there's no tricks over here because of the bishop covers. I think Rook to D1 is still possible. But this is okay as well, you're just simplifying everything. And then basically White will win the resulting endgame. Here, okay, makes sense also. I was thinking of here and then just simplifies or something. But this works too. Oh, no, it doesn't. But basically, yeah, if I can either take and then force a simplification, or I can take with check and then how is he gonna follow up? Probably something like this. Actually, I can just do this now, right? And then it's how you want to stop the checkmate. Yeah, it's a mate in one, man. That's it. Right. That was a interesting game. A very wasted opportunity by both sides. I think I felt that White had a very good attacking chances at the start, but he wasted too much time and it allowed Black to mount a very strong counter attack. The problem is that Black somehow miscalculated, so the counter attack basically failed halfway through. Right. We have 10 minutes left. I think we have about time for one last game. Let's see who. I want the game where this. Okay, this one looks like it's not out of the opening yet. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, this is a Caro Kann team defense tournament, but this is not the proper Caro Kann. This is like one of the lines in the Caro Kann. I can't remember what's the name. I think it's called the Smyslov variation. The one where Black deploys a knight to d7, so that after knight to f6, then when you take, then you can just recapture. Yeah. The problem is that you need a lot of theory prep for this, because if White tries something tricky like this, then suddenly there's a main one over here, which is very scary. Okay, enough talking. Let's get to the game itself. We are just barely out of the opening, and you see that there's always the same teams that you see in the Caro Kann defense, right? The typical queenside advance by Black, right? Of course, White would love to go on his queenside attack. Over here, I don't think that is his plan, but he can do that if he wants to with the rook lift and then going forward. But I don't think it will succeed. And when I look at the nature of this position. On the other hand, what Black is planning is actually quite clear, because he has things like queen to b6, rook to f8, and then after trades, there's this weakness over here, which it is the very typical queen side minority attack by the 2 pawns over here. Now, usually you will get it a lot in pawn structures like the Caro Kann, the Carlsbad structure, if you play the queen's gambit. Yeah. Right, so takes. I think the follow-up will be queen to b6 and then rook to queen takes. Interesting. I mean, that gains on tempo, but that prevents the long-term positional weakness. It's not all that great for White though, because after queen to b6, now you have 2 weaknesses over here to defend, right? Yeah, exactly. You place queen to d6, and I mean, I don't have to take on e5. I can just let it stay there, and then I just invite you to take, and then this one becomes a long-term weakness. It's basically an isolated pawn. After this, rook come in. I mean, you just occupy the c file, right? A good move by White. Basically, you're just stopping this rook to c4 ideas. I mean, that's not stopping him from playing this, right? Or he can even go crazy and then go for this a5 advance. Anyway, he plays this very, very normal, and then after that, the doubling on the c4 is a very typical idea. After this, there's really not much that I don't see a very good plan for white over here. And really his best hope is just to simplify the position. And again, he has to think about what's he going to do with this pawn, because after you trade off everything into the endgame, it's going to be very scary. How is white to defend this? And he does play this. Now it takes, there's this open file here. Yes, the square is now vacated for the rook. There are these multiple pawn weaknesses. And I mean, there's this check here if he wants to gain a tempo, and then I mean queen to f5 is possible as well. Although of course, there's this very annoying threats. But I think black should be able to fend it off, right? With I mean that's possible as well. And after this, takes, goes back, and then defends, right? I don't see how black is. I don't see how white is going to stop losing these 2 pawns over here, if you ask me. I mean, this will be fourth. I mean, one thing I can think of is that white can try to be cheeky and then like sack this rook for, like, try and trade rooks, because if he's able to, then suddenly the pawn becomes a monster. Then actually realize that the black king is just beyond the square of the pawn. So again, these are the kind of funny endgame tricks that both sides have to be aware of, right? I think I fell for this trick once in the ACA tournament. I think that was one of the only 2 games that I lost, and honestly, I was quite annoyed by it. Okay, rook trade offered by, pawn trade offered by both sides, but black doesn't take, and I think that's the right move. Now white has just resigned, and I basically after that the pawn is going to run because after king up here, then even if white deploys this, then he just promotes because the queenie square is protected. Right. Very nice game by black over here. And we still have 6 minutes left, so I think we have time for one last game. Let's try to. This one looks like it's out of the opening as well. After the 10th move. Right, my first instinct is that this bishop, black needs to do something about it, right? Which he can't because the rook already occupies the open file. So it's going to be hard for black to fight for control of this open file, and I think he realized that because he decided not to. He did. Fine. I was wondering why he wanted to make this queen side like maneuver and then waste time when he could like have caught up trying to develop his other pieces. Anyway, it's interesting. He used a pawn to bring out the bishop. I mean, if you're a more sane kind of person, you'll think of something like this and then bishop b7, right? But I don't think that's very possible. Anyway, now it looks. I mean, even though black has the 2 bishops, it's actually very dangerous for him because of this potential discover attack, and black just. I think black just lost the bishop. I mean, white could have been cheeky and then try and do some double check over here, but I don't think there's any mate coming because the queens have been traded off. I think white will win this quite comfortably. Maybe not because of the pawn, the passed pawns over here. So still black needs to be. Still white needs to be careful. But I like this square for the bishop. You basically just lock down the entire pawns, and after this, eventually the king needs to come out and come in. After this, he just go back. What are you going to do? You can't go forward. I don't like this move. I will just move the bishop. But I mean now king can just come in. Takes. And I think it should be a win for him. Maybe not. I mean, black still need. I see. Yes, this is definitely a win for. After this, basically the pawn can never promote, and then white just march the king over, take this pawn, and basically it's game over for white over here. Yep. The king should have gone forward first, but yeah, this works as well. And then after takes, basically, yeah, he's outside the square of the pawn, so he can forget about trying to catch the pawn, and yeah, black just resign. Right. Very interesting game. Right. And we still have 3 minutes left. I think we have time for like one last game. Maybe let's try and look for maybe an end game-ish kind of position so that it's okay, middle game should work as well. I take by my words. This is still the opening. F4. F5 played by black. Is that typical in the Caro Kann? I played the Caro Kann myself, but I'll never dare to make this kind of move. Anyway, this looks going to be an interesting game because you see they cast on opposite wings, and then now immediately white just launches the queenside attack. I think we will see some interesting fireworks over here. This right? That's what black should be aiming for, and after that, knight to f6. No, I don't really like h6. It felt too slow, and then there's no point, right? After here, knight f6. Yeah. And now it's getting very dangerous for black because the file is already getting opened. Takes. Yeah, bishop is the correct one. Because if you take, then suddenly there's this, and then game over for black. I like how black has the 2 bishops, but the position is not fully open yet, so the 2 bishops are not at their full potential. White drops a pawn. Did he? Yeah, he did. Actually, wait. Oh yeah, because it's with check. I was thinking of lines like this, and then after that, you overload the queen. But then your king becomes extremely exposed because the file is open. If one thing that black's double bishops are helping in this position is that it's actually doing quite well in defending the queen side. Because you notice that they actually cover a lot of very important squares which would otherwise have allowed the white queen to infiltrate. Yeah. I think white should just trade this off. And then after that, go forward. Get rid of this knight somehow. And after that, the rook comes in. Anyway, it's likely this will be the last game I'll be looking at today. We are down to our last 30 seconds and it's almost 2. I need to get back to work soon. Oh, very, very tense now. Yeah, this is not a checkmate yet, but it's very scary for black, basically. Just retreat, drop back the bishop. Oh yeah, here works also. Then you tie down this knight as well. The thing is, how are you going to stop this from coming in? If I'm white, I really wish I had the light square bishop. But no, that's why he decides that the knight will do. Wait, this, right? Yeah. And then how are you going to stop? Here, you basically pick up an entire piece. He escapes, but he just run away with the extra piece. Then I think black can resign. Yeah, queen a7 is forced now. But after something like this, and then the file is open, I can just double over here, and then white's attack should be able to go through. Come here, just trade the queens, and it's not really forced, but it's in black's best interest to trade queens. Let's come here, rook. No, man, no, don't come here. I don't really like that square for the bishop. And nope, you shouldn't take because of the pin here. There's a kind of tricks that you got to be careful of, especially if you're playing Blitz. Yep, white doesn't fall for it. And this will be very natural now. Let's come here. Oh, come on. Wait. That's why white is able to go for it. Amazing. I also didn't see this counter attack. But still, okay, fine. I didn't see that. King comes up. Wait, it's actually a free bishop. Didn't see it. But I think this is winning for white. I don't have to say anything else. Right. Cut off the entire file. Now this comes in and then here and force a rook trade, and then I think it's game over for white. For black, sorry. Yeah, but now no, come on, this is a problem. But then I think there's this check. It's amazing. It's like you see a lot of things when you're commenting, but when you're actually playing, somehow people's visions get reduced by a lot. I myself also see a lot less things when I'm actually playing. Yeah. Probably it's a psychological factor. At this stage, I can just sack this. Can I? Actually, from here, and then skewer. So you force the rook trade. Really? There's some calculation that I'm not seeing here. But I think he can still play this, right? Why? Oh, but this wins the bishop as well. Yeah. Actually, you could have just played that earlier. Then, but never mind, he wins. Now white's entire rook and a knight up, and not surprisingly, black has resigned. All right. And that's it. That's the end of the Caro Kann Team Blitz tournament on thechess.org. Congratulations to the winners, and hope you have enjoyed the few games that I've commented throughout. Yeah, again, this was supposed to be a very short commentary because, like I said, I've worked after this. But still, I hope that you all had fun looking at the games and the live commentary, right? So if you have been enjoying my very trashy live commentary either on Instagram or YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to me on YouTube or send me a follow request on Instagram. I go by the handle Disgruntled Panzer on both of these platforms. Thank you very much for watching.